Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Transwest team. If your company is a call center, you may have purchased the Mitel 6110 suite of ACD products. I'll give you a quick little explanation of what ACD is here. ACD is automatic call distribution. It's a specialized telephone system software application for distributing incoming calls, emails, and instant messages from your customers to your call center agents. ACDs are programmed to process incoming customer contacts, meaning those phone calls, emails, and instant messages, to your employees in a predefined order and provide real-time and historical statistics and reports. So that's our definition of ACD. One of the applications that is included within your Mitel 6110 package is the Contact Center client. The Contact Center client is a great little tool for viewing real-time call stats, agent statistics and statuses, as well as allowing instant messages between your agents. Included is the option to create a scrolling banner with real-time call stats, as well as a soft phone application. So, if this is the first time viewing this video and you're the system administrator, it's highly recommended that you view this video in its entirety, as some of the applications available within the Contact Center client you may or may not wish to make available to some of your basic users. We're going to move quite quickly here in this presentation in order to keep the tutorial around 15 minutes in length. What we'll do is we'll view a quick PowerPoint presentation with some screenshots on how to access the PrairieFire 6110 server, log in, and install the client component pack on your employee machines. So let's get started here. Our first step, we will open a session of Internet Explorer and we'll input the IP address of the Mitel 6110 server. At that point, you'll be taken to the login page and you will enter the default employee username and default employee passcode and select submit, which will take you to the Contact Center management screen. Now, to begin the download process, you'll simply come to your Help tab, select Software Download Installations, which will take you to the client component pack here. Go ahead and click your client component pack. And your next prompt will be to re-enter the server IP address. Once you get the IP address in, you can either run a quick test or simply click Install down at the bottom. Your next step, you'll need to select the role for the employee that you're currently loading for. If that employee is a supervisor, simply check the supervisor tab. If they are simply an agent, just simply click the agent. Administrator, most likely, if you are the system administrator, you will make yourself a power user, and you'll see why in just a moment. I'll give you a quick explanation of what each role provides. A supervisor, they can monitor agents and run reports. An agent can simply monitor other agents and queues. The administrator can simply just manage the server. But a power user can do all of the above, as well as customize the Contact Center client. So in this demo today, we've selected Power User because we kind of want to talk about some of the applications available. So choose your role and select Next. Now, since we selected Power User, these are our prompts. You can always hover your mouse over each prompt, and when you hover your mouse, you'll get an explanation of what that application actually does. You can see we're hovering over the Contact Center soft phone, and that enables you to use your computer as an IP-based phone set. You may or may not wish to give this application to your employees once you finish watching this video today. Real-time monitors, you'll always want to give that to all of your employees. The management console, I would not give that to any of your line employees, network monitor. I don't think you'd want to give that to any of your line employees, and most likely not your site manager. I've just selected these 5 options today because we're actually going to be jumping into the contact center client, a live version of it here in just a moment, and we'll take a look at some of these applications. And so anyway, choose your roles and you'll select finish. Once it finishes loading, you will now find it within your programs on your PC, and you always can create a quick shortcut to the desktop by coming up to Contact Center Client, right-clicking to create a desktop shortcut, and this is what the new desktop icon would look like. So bear with me just a moment and we will transition into a live Contact Center Client. Once you get the software installed, the employee will log in with their username and password. And remember that we selected a power user for this user, and 2 options that we chose, the soft phone as well as the network monitor. Well, when this first gets installed the very first time, the employee will be asked to do 2 things: set up their soft phone and take a look at that network monitor. So let's go ahead and jump into the soft phone settings, and of course they need to find or add their own extension. So you'll select add extensions, and then within the drop down list, or you can do a search, they will input their assigned extension number and it will find that assigned extension number. You simply check and select OK. Now notice that we have just a single row of icons up at the top. As soon as we select OK, our new soft phone will appear, as well followed by that network monitor. So I did want to throw in that network monitor just so you as the administrator can see what is involved with the network monitor. Most likely you will not give access to the network monitor to any call center agents. But the network monitor equates to these 2 icons right here. So we can close this. Now let's go back and finish talking about our soft phone application. We have our soft phone application icons up here. I'm going to come up into this area and simply right click 1 time and select configure. So we've assigned an extension, and it is a desk phone. I do have a physical desk phone sitting beside me, and the system also has a little toaster pop that will pop up on the screen on any incoming calls. It's a great tool, but you can enable or disable that. And then what I do like is you can add any call notes or any notes about a call that you're currently on, as well as creating your own and importing your own address book from within your corporate directory or your Outlook directory within this area. And let's move this down just a little bit, and actually let's hide this network alarm. I'm going to come up under, let's cancel this momentarily. I'm going to come up under the view. I'm going to hide that network monitor. Notice it went away. So let's come back and finish our soft phone configure. These are my icons to utilize my soft phone. I can customize my call control icons. I can customize my ring sounds. I do have a call forwarding tab here. We do need to have a conversation about this call forwarding tab. We're going to bring this up right in the middle of the screen because this is fairly important to you as a system administrator. By default, notice this is checked enabled. This is our company voicemail pilot number. This group of numbers most likely will be different from for your company. This will be your voicemail pilot number, but external calls, anytime I'm busy at my extension, will route directly to my mailbox. Anytime I don't answer any external calls, it will route to my mailbox. If I receive a call from a coworker and my phone is busy, it will route to my mailbox. So you get the idea here. So be a little bit careful, because if you get a trouble ticket as a system administrator and your employee says all of my calls are routing directly to my mailbox, but yet my physical do not disturb key on my phone is not turned on, what's going on? Well, as a system administrator, this would be the very first thing I would take a look at right here. Also be aware as a system administrator that if your system has allowed call forwarding external to your employees, then one of your employees utilizing their soft phone can forward their phone to any destination outside of the building of their choosing by simply inputting the digit 9 or any other digit that your company uses for external dial tone followed by the phone number. So be a little bit careful on that if you're a system administrator. If you get a trouble ticket that somebody's extension is forwarding to an external phone number, this is where I would take a look at. So I'm going to just input back our voicemail pilot number, and we can select OK or cancel. I'm going to select OK. I'm going to disable that prompt. Now, let's finish that configuration. We talked about the call forwarding. Here I can add my own speed dials by inputting Joe's Pizza Place followed by Joe's Pizza phone number. Here's my F key shortcuts. I do have the capability, or the system has the capability, to do any pre-announcements. Maybe we are a call center for a bank and we get a lot of customer service calls to where we need to know in advance what the customer credit card number or customer account numbers are. We can create a pre-announcement, so then when the customers call in, they get that pre-announcement to have their credit card ready. Screen pops, if you wish to create any screen pops to launch a particular application on any phone calls and so on, then you have a diagnostic tool up here. So let's cancel that. And this area right here, this is my dial control. If I wish to dial somebody's extension, I can simply input a extension number, or if I want to make an outside phone call, I would input the phone number, and so on. But we do have a little drop down right here, and here I have a dial pad. Here I can look at any recent calls I've made, any of my Outlook contacts that I may have imported that we just looked at, and any of those speed dials that I created. So this is a quick overview of my soft phone, and then again here is that network monitor back into this area here. So next we're going to talk about some of these icons up in this area here. Okay, let's get started here. Now we're going to view our contact center client, and we're going to come down through these areas right through here. The first three positions represent your agents or your employees. These two options represent your queues. You can build some charts. You can build a scrolling marquee or banner, which we will not go into today due to the simple fact that that is an additional training series video that will last approximately 20 minutes in length. We will not be talking about the optional scheduling for employees. While we're right here, let's talk about management real quick. When you set up or define the roles for your employees, whether you define them as a power user, administrator, or so on, if you give the option of management to your employees, that will be your choice. I don't know if I would allow my regular line employees to have access to the management. Most likely you'll just allow the system administrator, the management client, because as you can see, with the management option, they have the option to set restores and backups,
update the server IP address, and so on. So this truly is a system manager tool here. So we'll close this, we'll come over to the view, and we will hide that management icon temporarily. Now, right down in this area here, we can come to view. We can hide those icons. We can still find the same icons underneath the real time. They're all available to us here. So let's come back to view. Let's actually throw those back in there and let's get started. This agent state by position, if your company uses a seating chart, maybe you wish to view your agents as they sit. We have agent groups and agents. An agent can be member of multiple groups. So what we're going to do today for this demo, we're going to strictly pick on the tech line. This is the ACD group that answers the calls whenever one of our technicians at the office here dials in. So we'll select tech line, and these are the 4 available agents in that tech line group. So, or we can unclick and we can individually add them in if we like. Select OK. Now, I'll expand this just slightly, bring this out so we can see Kirsty's full name, and build our seating chart. Maria sits up at the beginning, Wendy sits back here, and Kirsty sits over in this area. So we always can hover over somebody. Currently, Maria's idle, Kirsty's idle, Raylene is idle. She is away from her desk though, and Kirsty is in Do Not Disturb. So that's our agent state by position. You can also choose employee state by position or extension state by position. You as a system administrator and or call center employee will create your own windows. So we're just going to go through these very quickly for you here today. So I left click, I select dock, and over to the right hand side I'm going to pin it. It didn't go anywhere, it's still there. Now we can just hover over it to see it. So let's come up here to this agent state by time. Again, we're going to pick on that tech line, add those 4 employees in. Now this is real-time stats. Currently, the tech line, we have no techs calling in at this given moment, so therefore we have 3 agents that are idle, and we have 1 agent that is actually logged out of the queue and actually has the Do Not Disturb key depressed on their phone. So let's right click, let's dock it and pin it. Now let's talk about this. We're going to come talk about this shift, and we're going to talk about these queues by period in just a moment. I do want to give you some definitions before we jump into this area here. I'm going to give you the definition of what an abandoned call is. An abandoned call is a call that does not reach an agent because the caller hung up while waiting in queue for an available agent to answer. We have an abandoned short. An abandoned short are calls that have hit the queue and are waiting for an agent to answer their call. By default, the system short aband time is 6 seconds. That means that if the caller hits the queue and they hang up within the default 6 seconds, that call will not show up when you run any of your call abandon reports. You as the administrator define that timer within the 6110 underneath your site, configuration, and queue. I'm going to give you the definition of requeued. That is where an agent has taken the call and transferred a caller back into the queue. We have 2 more explanations that you need to be aware of. We have one entitled overflow. Overflow is a call that has hit the ACD queue and is not answered immediately by the assigned agent group. After a set amount of time waiting in queue, the overflow timer takes effect and that caller is overflowed to another agent group with another group of agents within that group. The caller keeps their place in line, and agents in either queue may answer that call. Now I'm going to give you the definition of what interflow is. The term interflow refers to a mechanism that directs a queue delayed call to another answering point, meaning that a caller has hit the queue, they've waited in queue, and an agent has not answered that call, and so then maybe that caller overflows to another queue. And if the call does not get answered by the second group of agents, then an interflow timer may take an effect. And an interflow timer can then route the caller to an end destination, possibly a mailbox or even an external phone number. So that's a definition of abandon, a short abandon, a requeued, an overflow, and an interflow. So we're going to see some of those here in just a moment. So let's come up to this agent by shift. We'll pick on that tech line again. Select OK. So you can see that we've got a lot of information available to us here. Of course, we've got the agents, the agent IDs, when they logged in, how much time they've spent on shift, how much time they've spent taking ACD calls from the customers. Maybe any time that they've made an outbound call and have put that call on hold. Here we have a do not disturb timer, and we have over here, I'm going to bring this attention to you, this make busy. I'm going to move that over to the make next to the do not disturb. Do not disturb and make busy. Two separate keys, two different things. They're very similar. A do not disturb key, as you're well aware, places your phone in do not disturb so coworkers cannot dial you, and outside parties may not dial your extension directly. When you're utilizing your do not disturb key, all calls route right to your own personal mailbox, versus a make busy key. Only call center agents will have a make busy key placed on their phone. Make busy key is similar to a do not disturb key, but what it does is when the agent utilizes their make busy key, it temporarily puts that agent in do not disturb from receiving queued or call center calls. If they're utilizing their make busy key, it temporarily suspends that agent from receiving ACD calls. So that's the difference between a do not disturb key and a make busy key. Wrap-up timer is just a fixed amount of time that an employee may need between ACD calls to wrap up or complete any paperwork from the last call that they'd received. Here's a short ACD count right here that refers to that short abandon timer. So you can see that this gives you a lot of great information and tools here. So we're going to dock it and we're going to pin it. And we're going to come up to this queue now. We'll select queue group. And of course, we're still picking on that tech line here. So we'll select OK. And this is live call stats as it's currently going on for the tech line. Longest waiting in queue, there's currently 0 calls waiting for a tech. We don't have any callers currently waiting. And so if we had one caller that was waiting for an available agent, this timer would be flowing at this particular point. 3 agents available, and we've got 2 agents that are idle. Nobody's making any non-ACD calls, and so on. This service level percentage, I do want to give you a quick little explanation of what that's all about. Service level percentage, your queue service objective might be for your agents to handle 80% of your calls within 120 seconds. So it's just a timer versus, it's just a goal per se. Your service level percentage of the total of number of contacts or calls which are handled, abandoned, and interflowed before a defined threshold time. So that's what our service level percentage is all about. We've handled 100% of our calls within our service level percentage. So let's do a quick dock and let's pin it. And lastly, we have some charts available to us. Just a colorful little chart almost a bar graph. As you can see, we've picked on the tech line. They've answered 14 calls today. None of those calls have interflowed and none of those calls have abandoned. So great job, customer service here at Transwest. So let's close that. And again, we mentioned that we're not going to talk about the marquee today, just for the simple fact that it is going to be an additional video done by here at Transwest coming soon. So thank you for watching this particular video. I am going to select my close prompt over here, and we're going to get a prompt that we're going to be talking about just momentarily. It says the current profile has been modified since it was last saved. Do you wish to save it? Here's where you need to make a decision. Maybe you've logged in a couple of times and you have built your marquee, your banner, as you wish to view it, and you've saved it. And so then today you came in and made some edits or changes, just like we've done here. If I select yes, I wish to save this one today, then the changes that we made today will overwrite the changes that you built yesterday. So if you come in and play with your marquee and you select save, it will overwrite, and when you reopen tomorrow, it will open up and reload just as you finished it today. So in this case, I'm not going to save any changes here today, and we will log out. So thank you for watching, and if you need additional help, please contact Transwest. We are found on the web at www.twns.com. Thank you.